Hey folks, AJaytheCEO here, and we got ourselves another product from Ubiquiti. This is the Access Ultra. I've been installing a bunch of the door access and the access products here with from Ubiquiti, and I got a big one coming up in Chicago pretty soon where we're going to do a ton of these. And I wanted to test this out because this is a little bit different than the other ones. So when you use the Ubiquiti access stuff, normally you have to have a hub that sits somewhere in a secure area, a closet, or somewhere that you can't get access to it easily. And it goes off of PoE++, so you need a switch or an adapter so that that will work. Run an Ethernet cable to that. Then you run a 18 gauge wire from that to a magnetic lock or a strike, similar to like this one that I have. This actually is the Unifi electric strike lock, whatever it's called. And then you also need similar wire like that to an exit button or something like that. And all of that goes to the hub to power the door. Now, there's nothing the matter with that. I've installed that, but thankfully the Access Ultra has the hub built in, and this does not require PoE++. So a regular PoE+ can be sent here. One cable comes to here, and then all of the locks and stuff like I showed you actually come from here. So only one cable from your switch is actually going to go to this, and then everything else comes from here. So let's go ahead and open this up and let's see what is inside. And literally, it just got delivered here. I just saw it here on the camera. So let's go ahead and open this up. Now again, I'll let y'all know I am not an affiliate with Ubiquiti. I wish I was. I bought this with my own money. I bought this to test out and see how it's going to work, to see if it's going to be a viable option for my client. Is again, I always test out stuff first before I'm not going to guinea pig on myself before I try and work with give any new equipment to anybody else. All right, so inside of here, take this off. Here is the unit itself. And like I said, everything is built in. So I take this rubber grommet off, Ethernet in. Let's punch in a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. So Ethernet in, and then those 4 connectors are where you're going to connect in power that's going to power a magnetic lock or a strike, and your exit button if you're having a physical exit button, or well, actually I think it would be physical only. So this would not work with another device like this to provide access like swipe out or wave or anything like that. So we're going to set this all up because again, this one is going to be mines to work with. So this is just for packaging. We got some brackets here that we can use, level template here. I'll set this aside because I want to keep this. What I would like to actually, what I'm planning on using one of these for is actually for people to get inside, not the main door, but outside doors. And then also for the server room that we're building, only certain people have access to it. So here's the tool for removing it when you need to disconnect it from here. We got our mounting screws, and that's mainly it. Let's get this up out of the way, and we're gonna put all this stuff in place back, because like I said, I'm keeping this one to play around with it, and then with ultimately, like I said, a server room, this is gonna give access to a server room, so everybody don't get access to that. Only daddy got access to our system there. All right, so let's see what else is inside the box. We got our regular manual inside of there. And then in here, we have some other adapters and stuff here for putting on a 1-gang box. Ubiquiti does sell mounting boxes. I've used them once, and honestly, I think they're overpriced. You can get a PVC box from like Lowe's or Home Depot that kind of meets the same specs of everything. Actually, I have one up under the desk here. This is what I use when I do the CASA plugs. So this would fit the exact same way on top of there and screws into this. So you can get one of these boxes here and mount it. It's waterproof, just like the Ubiquiti one. You can get it from Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that for like $9. I think Ubiquiti is selling theirs for like $39. So you don't have to necessarily do that. I was thinking about 3D printing something, but that's not going to be waterproof. But anyway, you would mount this to the box. This goes over top of this, and then you mount it inside of here so that it will be flush. So that's how that would work. And then you have enough depth inside of it in the box to hook up your cables and all that other fun stuff. So really, really nice and neat. Let's go ahead and put this away. And whatever, I can't squeeze that back into there for right now. All right, so let's go ahead and set this up, shall we? I actually installed the Unifi stuff, the app, on my UDM Pro, and I'm looking for my key fob because, like I said, I've installed this before. So this key fob can be used for multiple locks. This is the one that I have for Gates of Faith, and then I have a card around here somewhere. I know I had it because I knew this was coming in. I was going to use it, but we'll get this all registered. So let's get everything set up here. I have my PoE switch here. I normally would put this on a VLAN, but for right now, this is fine. We'll go ahead and set that up. All right, it is lighting up there. Let's punch in a little bit so you can see it. So it is lighting up. So while we're doing that, let's go ahead and log into the Unifi console so we can see what everything is going on with this thing. All right, so let's go to the main console first. And waiting for this to come on air. And I know a couple of times, I don't know why it's saying my fax machine is off. It's right under me, it's on. Anyway, let's go to the Access app. So first off, if you have this, they've updated their stuff now, the OS, the Unifi OS. So now instead of it being a separate setting like under gears and stuff like that, most of the settings have been moved to control panel, which is right here. So this is where you would install the app. And as you can see, I have all of them installed. So that's the Access here. So let's go to Access now. And let's go to our devices, and there it is. So that's the Unifi Access Ultra. Let's go ahead and adopt it. And I'm wondering why it didn't show up on the main console. All right, so it's there and it needs to do an update. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's cut back over here and let's look at how it shows up. So now it's showing up here. So I want to put these on a separate VLAN for this. So, well, I guess I really don't need to, but I've already made one Access here. So I need to know what port this is connected to, and we're going to put that on a separate thing here. So this is our door. That is on port 5 on my PoE switch. So let's go here to our manager, port 5. And I want to change this from my VLAN and network from default. I want to change that to Access. And I'm not going to hit apply because it's doing an update right now. And I don't want to throw that off. I'm going to wait till this is done and we'll come back to that. All right, it looks like it's finished updating. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that for my Access. We'll apply those changes. And I am going to cycle this, power it off and power it back on so that it'll pick up that change. Now, the other thing is, since I'm renting this place, I can't really mount this in anything. Would love to play around with it. I don't have anything to engage with a lock, but we are going to set up everything with this. So let's go back here. There's our PTZ. If you watched that video that we just installed yesterday, and that video dropped probably a little bit ago. All right, here's the door. It is updating. I don't think that's correct because it had finished updating. Let's see. Let's go to Access. Sometimes the network is showing up as the reading shows up a little bit slower. Okay, yeah, because it's already online. It has the new IP address and everything. So let's go back in here. So it's my VLAN is 192.168.50. So we're going to change this number here because it doesn't need to be that high. So we're going to set a fixed IP address for this, and this is going to be 50.10. That will be fine for me. And then let's reboot this one more again. Let's come over here to the access. Now let's see what functionality we have with this. Let's go full screen here. So we can unlock the door. I mean, it's not physically connected to anything yet, but if we click it, we just heard the sign noise go off that it unlocked. We have access to the terminal settings here, so we'll do that when we get stuff connected. Manage paired devices. So with this, you can actually link it to a camera that says that, oh, this is the camera in the proximity of what this is. So say this is for a back door. You might have a back door camera that the hub lets you connect the camera physically to the hub. Since you don't have a connection with this, the network is just going to bridge this gap with this. So say I wanted this to be inside of the garage. I could link it to that. So when I swipe or try to get access to this, that camera will take a picture and say this is the person who actually came in at that time. And I'm actually going to be installing 2 of these at TCF as well too. That should be coming up in about 2 weeks. All right. So let's see what other settings that we have inside of here. We can give it a name. We can assign people to it. So I already had an account on here, so I'm here. But let's go ahead and assign a fob to this. We're going to go to users. And I'm going to go to me. And actually not admin, we got to go to users. I don't know why they separate it like that. So now I'm here in my profile, so I can come in here to settings and I want to add an NFC card. So we're going to tap on that. And what door am I going to use to register? This is the only one I got. So I hit continue. So now it's ready for me to verify. So I need to come close to it and then bring my card near to this. So we just hold it. Wondering why it's not letting me. If you proceed, this card will be deactivated at its current site. Oh, see, I thought it would let me actually use this on 2 sites. So no, it doesn't. I need to find the other card that I had. All right, after tearing apart everything down here, I actually found that this is a proprietary card by Unifi, Ubiquiti. You can use any other NFC cards, but I don't have time to go into it. There are some issues with that where people can compromise these. They have some proprietary stuff with theirs that kind of gets around that. So that's what mine is set up to only use this. So let's go back through the setup again. If I cut back over here, and we're going to go back and pick the door that we want to add our card to. Now this one I think is registered, but this one I don't care. This is mine, so I can reset this all day long. So we pick where we're going to do this at. We're going to cut over to the camera so you can actually see it. So now I know this one is saying, hey, this is going to cause it to be reset, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Yes, I want to reassign that. So I'm going to swipe it one more time. So now I am registered. This card is going to be mine to access inside of here. Now you can set up rules and privileges and all this other stuff with certain cards if you wanted to do this with other people, but I already talked about that with the access stuff. So now this is set. Now let's cut back over here, and I really need to have my tablet here so I can actually switch this a lot easier than me pressing buttons like this, but you know, we just do this live here. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hook up the strike to, zoom out so you can see, I am gonna hook up my strike to this and hook up my access, my door access. And I need a longer cable. Let me disconnect this, and I have a longer cable here so I can move this a little bit easier. And this is probably gonna mess it up because what I'm connecting it to is not configured on that VLAN. So it might throw some issues for me. Actually, AJ, why did you do that? Let me go back, because you couldn't see this anyway. So I'm just gonna punch in, we're gonna hook up everything, and then I'll just plug it right back up. So if we zoom in here, so as you can see, we have our exit request and we have our lock. So our exit request is going to be this button one that I have here. And I already had the cables done. So you can see that that's positive and negative. So we're just gonna push that down so it will engage. And I need, oh, I'll just use this pen here. All right, so that's, and y'all can't see nothing that I just did. My apologies. So we're just gonna push this in and put the other one in here for the negative. So this locked in place now. And we're gonna use our magnetic, well, our lock, electric strike, whatever the heck it's called. We're gonna do the same thing. So that is positive and negative in that order. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So let's set up the positive first. And then the negative we will use here. And I know I'm probably blocking you. And that one didn't engage. All right, so now everything is locked in place. All right, so now again, this just makes it so much easier because all the cables are here. Now that also reminds me to remind y'all that when you're doing something like this and you're installing the access, this is what I'm having to do at other places as well too, is just make sure that your PoE switch, your UDM Pro, whatever that's powering this has power. Because if I was using like a magnetic lock, like right now, this lock is set to always be locked if it loses power. If you have a magnetic lock, once it loses power, the door is gonna be able to be opened. So you need to make sure if you're doing something like this, especially with magnetic locks, that you have some type of redundant power. That's why I've been using the anchors and stuff like that, because the APCs that I used to use, their power does not last very long. You got maybe like 20 minutes with that. But when I disconnect the anchor that I'm running with my stuff right now, it's gonna last for like 14 hours. So you'll have a whole lot more. So worst case scenario, if you lost power in a building or something like that, or at your church, you'll still be able to have it being secured. Say a bad storm comes through and knocks out power, then boom, all your doors are wide open and anybody can get into it. That's just the issue if you're using, if you are using ones that are magnetic locks. All right, so let's cut back over here. And I'm just gonna switch back and forth. All right, so now if we go here and switch over now, as you can see, I can't open this. If I press the push exit, now I can open it. And I don't know if you heard the click, it's engaged again. So now I can't open it. Let's do it one more time. This is the push to exit. And see, now it opens. And it just clicked back in place, the solenoid in there, a solenoid, is that how you say it? And now it's engaged, so now it won't open. So like when you have this, if you use the key, it will pull up the flange and it will let the door open. With this, when you engage this, see, this pulls down, and even if the lock isn't there, the whole door can just slide straight out. That's the beauty of these. So you can, if the door is able to have these type of locks, this makes it easier because then you don't have to worry about backup, because mechanically this is set to still stay locked if it loses power. If you have a key, the flange will come up and you can still open the door. That makes this work great. All right, so now let's try the card. And there it goes. That's open again as well too. Really straightforward. Really like this stuff. Like I said, I'm a nerd when it comes to stuff like this. I'd love to do something like this at my house. I probably will. Probably for like, you know, the stuff that you don't need everybody to get into, like the server room, say the man cave. You might have to have some IDs and stuff like that. Actually, let me cut back over here real quick just to show you if you didn't have something that wasn't compatible. Gives the same thing. I don't have access because this is not registered. So now if we cut back over here, let's look at the logs and show the activity of what's been going on here. So access denied. So that's where it said invalid card. I just did that. That's why it wouldn't let me get in. But if we go to unlocks, see it was assigned to me, and it said that I went in here and opened the door. And then a couple of times here, it also said this was unlocked by exit request. So this was me pressing the button that actually let this open. So if I press it again, see, it's open. And it just locked. So I guess it's, it doesn't refresh the page. I have to click away to make it refresh, and there it goes. So that was when I manually pressed it. Now, you also have the app that you can get access to, that it will allow you to actually get into this as well too. So if I open up, let me use my other phone since I'm using that one to switch my cameras. So if I go in here and I have the Unifi Access app, and I'm going into this right now. So if I come here to the door and see, I can tap on the app. See, and it's open again. And all right, so now it's locked again. So I can always do that. Now, Unifi has this thing called identity. I haven't really played around with it, that you can set it up kind of like how my Tesla is. My phone acts as the key. You can kind of set it up the same way that when you have authentication with that. Actually, let's see if we can get this whole thing set up. Actually, it says I need permission. So I'm now allowing this to open when I'm close. So now I'm not going to press any apps. So let's see what happens with this. So if I tap on the app, it works the same way. I thought this was going to make it just once I get near it, it unlocks. So I got to play with the identity stuff some more. But that is the Access Ultra. It makes it a whole lot easier installing this. Instead of having to have a hub, you can have everything go to just first PoE plus. You don't need a plus switch or an adapter. The adapters are $29, but the PoE plus switch is like $699, $700 for that. And you got to think from the little run. So imagine this is going to be on the outside of the door. So this and the exit button can be flanking each other. So you can have this on one side of the wall that people are coming into the building or whatever, or like externally, because this is weatherproof, have this outside, and instead of having to run super long cables all the way back to the hub, this can be on the opposite side of the wall, not directly behind it because you don't want people to rip it and be able to get to it, but this could be on the other side, and you're talking about maybe 1 foot to 2 feet of cable that will connect this, and especially with a electric strike, you got another 2 feet of cable to connect it directly to this. Or for magnetic lock, you're talking about going up the wall and then going to the magnetic lock. A lot simpler in its installation. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll have a link down below to this. I got mine from B&H Photo because this was well, actually, it was in stock on Unifi store, but I needed this one quick, fast, in a hurry so I can do this video. So that's why I ordered it next day from B&H Photo. This is going for $129, and it just makes it so much easier because you could get the bundle with the hub, and that starts at $299, and that still does not include, you have to add a PoE++ adapter, all the cabling. This, you just got this, and I guess got a spool of cable, leftover security cable, and it just made it really simple. But anyway, let me know if you have any other questions or other stuff you want to test out, because this one is mine. I'm adding to the collection of all my stuff. So when I have my server room, this is going to be mounted in the door. So Yanni and no one else can get into this except for me. No one else. Just like in the other churches, I'm putting this on the security door so that other people can't get into it, because you ain't got no business messing with the security and the network and all this other stuff if you don't have permission. And I think I talked about how to set permissions and access in the other video I did before. But anyway, let me know if you have any other questions, folks. And I think that's about it. So if you like this type of content, appreciate a like, consider subscribing, hit that bell, that way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thanks for watching, folks. This is AJ. Catch you on the next video. Later.